So I'm here with Ivan Benic, and behind us is this massive beast. So what exactly is this?
Well, this is my my little statement on the customizing world, if you will. When in the 70s, when I really got started, you just weren't cool if you weren't driving a custom van. So one year I went to the Nationals, Van Nationals that is, 6,000 vans there, and I realized that you needed a radical to get some real attention. So I sold my very first van. That went over to Sweden, and I used the money to get this started and went bananas and never stopped. And every 3 or 4 years I want to change something, but I'm now safely getting too old to make any real changes, so it's maintenance time because she's 40 years old.
So you say back in the 70s you weren't cool unless you had a custom van, and I'm assuming they were probably normal sized vans, but this thing is definitely just a bit bigger than your average van. What made you want something this big?
Well, that's another big question. Actually, no. A quick story, but we're rolling down the highway, I-75, coming to Detroit, and this guy pulls alongside of me with a big-ass limo, and he's going, "Hey, can you do this and that? And here's my card." On the highway, I literally gave him my phone number. The guy comes to see me. I go bananas over this limo. Next thing I know, "Hey, wait a minute, my van's too short." And we stretched it. And then we stretched something else, and then the next thing you know, I'm in a limo service, but not with this. So that's the short end of that one.
All right, so on the side of your van, we have got some amazing custom artwork, and to my understanding, you did this all yourself.
Yes. That was my beginning. I started in 1972 airbrushing. I actually bought the airbrush, but I was already doing artwork with the brush, you know. But anyway, in '72, when people were still spraying blow dots and stripes and flames and all that stuff, there was only one guy that I remember that was doing any kind of artwork on a car, and that was Gregor Akron in Akron, Ohio. Anyway, I said, wait a minute, I think I can do something with an airbrush, because, you know, I'm doing artwork to begin with. So I grabbed an airbrush. The next day I started painting and never stopped.
Now, to my understanding, airbrushing isn't the simplest thing, and I can see you have a lot of meticulous detail here. Now, was it a challenge to get that small, tiny, intricate detail?
Yeah, most of the time it is. It's a challenge, but it's all just a level of concentration. And simply by the fact that I started with motorcycles, which are that long, you know, you had to do your thing in 12, 14 inches, right? That was a space. Yeah. And so that's when I learned how to do detail, when I had to do somebody's motorcycle. So the next thing you know, I discovered vans, and that was easy. A lot more room, so we had fun.
Now, how often do you drive this thing? Is this like your daily driver?
It's my daily driver. I've been known, not that way, but I've been known to just run out to the beer store, mostly.
So I'd imagine this probably turns a lot of heads when you drive this down the street.
Would need to take you for a ride one day. We're going to have to come to Chatham and do it again, and you won't believe it. Unfortunately, sometimes it's a bad ending. People fall off of bicycles, people hit curbs with their cars. You name it, it has happened at one time or another.
Is this thing very difficult to drive?
No, it's beautiful. Actually, it's just, as you can see, it's dual axles in the front. Mm-hmm. So I have dual power steering pumps. So I can still crank it and turn it with one hand. And I love doing that, showing off. Whether I need to or not, I still want to turn it one hand.
All right, so let's talk a bit more about the mechanics. How much horsepower does this thing have?
I'm in the neighborhood about 450 horse. Right. Somewhere there. It's a Dennis Thibodeau motor that was built back in 1985 and still cranking. So it does good. It does really good on the expressway. So it does what it's supposed to do.
And what about the mechanical upwork of this car? I mean, is it a big job to take care of this car? Or van, I should say?
No, it's been pretty good. I mean, the only thing that really we stay on top of the brakes and that kind of stuff. I've replaced one transmission in the last 25 years, so yeah, the normal stuff. You know, ball joints and tie rods and all that stuff. Everything underneath it is actually bone stock Chevrolet. So there's no head scratching. There's nothing that can break that's custom. That, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The bodywork is all handmade. Okay. So all the bodywork is, it's a sculpture. It's an automotive sculpture. Mm-hmm. So it's one of. So it's just completely handmade. And then, but the mechanicals, the underpinnings, the things that work, that turn the wheels, mm-hmm. that's all stock stuff. Right.
So where did you find the inspiration for this particular piece on the side?
Well, this is actually my life. My automotive life is on this side. I repeated everything in my 70s style. Mm-hmm. The other side is a little more serious, but this side here is, you know, the outer space is the way I took out the front fender, made the end of the world over there where the waterfall is. You go into outer space. Well, I created that on a van from North Carolina back in '77. The other van there is in North Carolina. It's in pristine condition, 2,000 miles on it. The guy keeps it in his in his garage, brings it out once every 5 years. The motorcycle over there is Freedom, 1976, the most popular, most beautiful chopper in North America. That was by magazines, mm-hmm. deemed that. The Cruiser, Strange Brew was another big hit in 1975. Magic Butterfly also, he won just about every mural award there was. There's another van there, one of my cars, my Super Stretch limo, blah, blah, blah. And then the Ivan Tower, you see the tower there, the castle?
Yeah.
That was on my very first van that I airbrushed in at the Autorama in Detroit.
Okay.
During the show. That's the one I sold to build this. So it had some semblance of that vehicle. Right. That artwork had to go on there. So that's the Ivan Castle. But the I, that's the castle is the I, that stands for I on the van, Ivan. Subliminal Ivan. People don't think that deep, but I do. Yeah. But anyway, and then you've got your staircase. I'm building a staircase. You got to go up. There's going to be a slide there because sometimes it's hard to get up. You know, you don't just take steps. You might have to crawl up there. So I would suggest on that slide, you might have to go on hands and knees to get up, right? So then you got this aqueduct-looking thing that's going back down into my world to the other side, right? And then, of course, we've got the imagery of the new car that I'm building, and that's the end. So whatever's new in my life goes on that spot. So as you see it, look at it's on it's on a sketch pad. See the rolled paper?
Oh, okay.
You see? Yep. But it's 3D. It's coming out of it's coming off my sketch pad in real life. So that's why I presented it that way. Just a little bit of surrealism.